Welcome to Canada's Weirdest Crimes' first episode of Bizarre Canadian Break-Ins. In most countries, burglars steal TVs, cash, or jewelry. In Canada, they feed your cats, mop your floors, steal cupcakes, and leave selfies on your iPhone like they're auditioning for a reality show. Today, we dive into the crimes so polite, so bizarre, and so ridiculously Canadian, you'll wonder if you should call the cops or just offer them a Timbit. There are many ways a Canadian Christmas can be ruined. An uncle who drinks too much, your neighbor's inflatable Santa deflating mid-party, or, if you're Tara Stanley, a naked stranger dropped through your ceiling like some kind of hairless raccoon. It all started when Tara, her boyfriend, and her roommate made a quick trip to Vancouver. The plan was simple: go for the day, then come back home. But BC roads in December have the same reliability as a 50-cent lighter. So after checking Drive BC, they decided to grab a hotel for the night. No big deal. That's when Tara got a text from her neighbor. "Hey, can you keep it down in there?" Which is odd, considering she wasn't even home. Tara replied, "We're not there." And that's when things slid straight into weirdest crimes territory. The neighbor went to investigate and discovered a naked man wedged inside Tara's ceiling vent. Not Santa Claus, just a nude guy, cocooned in insulation like some desperate Christmas turkey. Apparently, he climbed onto Tara's shed, ripped open the vent above the master bedroom, and decided the best way to warm up was to dismantle her ceiling, one kick at a time. He punched through her master bedroom, her closet, and then, if you're already in this deep, why not? Every single other room on the top floor. Here's what's most bizarre. He didn't steal anything. He just rummaged. It was less Ocean's 11 and more meth Santa goes window shopping. At some point, he tried to leave. First through a window, failed. Then back through the vent, also failed. And so naturally, he left his clothes scattered around the house like a trail of evidence for the world's saddest scavenger hunt. His underwear, according to Tara, was discovered sitting proudly on her toilet. The RCMP arrested the man, took him to the hospital, and then promptly released him with a promise to appear in court. Because nothing says safe holiday season like knowing your naked ceiling troll is back in the neighborhood. Tara and her family are now huddled in their basement, forced to celebrate Christmas without a kitchen, without furniture, and without a ceiling. They're living under one room while above them sits the aftermath of the world's weirdest break-in. No gifts were stolen, no money was taken, but in the end, the man stole something much greater: Tara's roof, her peace of mind, and the faint hope that this Christmas would be a normal one. So to summarize, in West Kelowna, Santa doesn't always come down the chimney. Sometimes. He comes naked through the vent, destroys your ceiling, and leaves his underwear on your toilet. Most home invasions end in theft, damage, or trauma. But in Little Fort, just north of Kamloops, a couple came home to find something much stranger. A house guest who had let himself in, fed the cats, made dinner, shaved, showered, and was now sitting on the couch with a hot cup of coffee like he owned the place. The intruder was 33-year-old Christopher Hiscock, a man from Nova Scotia who had apparently mistook breaking and entering for a bed and breakfast. When police and prosecutors later pieced it together, the story unfolded less like a crime report and more like the opening chapter of an offbeat Canadian sitcom. The ranch owners had been out for the evening. When they returned, they found the lights on, the fire crackling in the fireplace, and their television glowing. Sitting calmly in their living room was a complete stranger, fully settled in. Crown lawyer Mike Wong summed it up in court with the perfect understatement. She found the accused in her home watching TV. Hiscock hadn't just wandered in, he had made himself comfortable. He'd taken meat out of the freezer to thaw for later. He'd showered and shaved, leaving the bathroom as if he were freshening up before a night on the town. And in a detail that feels almost like satire, he even fed the cats. Because nothing says responsible house guests like tending to someone else's pets while illegally occupying their home. When questioned, Hiscock explained that he had been driving by, saw the door open, and figured he'd just come in, as though ranch houses on the Yellowhead Highway are public rest stops. In court, he pleaded guilty to possession of stolen property and being unlawfully in a dwelling. But unlike most burglars, his legacy isn't what he stole, it's what he gave back. A roaring fire, thawed meat, and freshly fed cats. The ranch owners, however, were less than charmed. Imagine returning home expecting peace and quiet, only to find a stranger not just in your house, but fully living in it like a character who forgot which Airbnb he booked. In the end, Hiscock was arrested and convicted. But this case will be remembered less for its criminal danger and more for its sheer absurdity. It wasn't a break-in so much as a misguided attempt at domestic bliss. The kind of crime that makes you double-check your locks and, maybe, your freezer inventory. Because in Kamloops, apparently, home invasion doesn't always mean theft. Sometimes it just means dinner's ready, the cats are happy, and there's a stranger drinking coffee on your couch. Most burglars are predictable. They smash a window, grab electronics, pocket the cash, and vanish into the night. But Vancouver recently got a criminal who rewrote the playbook. Instead of money or gadgets, he went after something far more valuable. 6 chocolate cupcakes with champagne buttercream icing. Yes, this is Canada's first recorded case of pastry-motivated crime. It all began around 3 in the morning at Sweet Something, a bakery in Vancouver's Dunbar neighborhood. Security footage shows a young man loitering outside the shop for half an hour. He knocks, he pushes, he jiggles the door like he's trying to politely ask the cupcakes if they're home. Finally, he gives up on social niceties, kicks through the glass, and walks in. Now at this point, most criminals would go straight for the valuables, but not this man. He strolls to the back, washes his hands, and pours himself a glass of water, because apparently breaking and entering can work up a thirst. Then, spotting a mop and bucket, he goes back to the front door and starts cleaning up the very glass he smashed. His technique? Mediocre. His effort? Surprisingly thoughtful. This may be the only burglar in Canadian history who broke the law and followed the janitor's code. Despite iPhones and iPads sitting right there in the bakery, he ignored them completely. Instead, he locked eyes on the real prize, a box of 6 chocolate cupcakes topped with champagne buttercream. He took them and left. Mission accomplished. Not a smash and grab, but a smash and snack. And as if that weren't bizarre enough, the man left selfies on the shop's phone, 3 of them. Posing in orange sunglasses like he was about to drop a new mixtape called Cupcakes and Felonies. The bakery's owner, Emma Irvine, even admitted, "Honestly, I think it's a great selfie. I'd post it if it was mine." That's not just evidence, that's content. Instead of being furious about the damage, Irvine leaned into the comedy. To cover the cost of her broken door, she baked the exact same cupcakes and decorated them with orange sunglasses. It's marketing genius. Turn your trauma into themed merchandise. Even the police couldn't stay serious. Officers arrived, watched the security video, and laughed. One admitted he'd never seen a break and enter where the suspect cleaned up after himself. Usually, burglars leave chaos. This one left tidier floors and fewer cupcakes. In the end, nothing of real value was stolen. Nobody was hurt. And the bakery owner has a story she'll be telling for the rest of her life. The cupcake bandit gave her a broken door, a viral security video, and, oddly enough, one of her favorite memories of owning the business. So here's the lesson. In Vancouver, criminals may take your pastries, but at least they'll wash their hands, mop your floor, and leave behind a few selfies to remember them by. And honestly, in a world full of violent robberies and scary break-ins, maybe a cupcake-obsessed burglar in orange shades is exactly the kind of comic relief we all needed.
Oh my gosh. Hi. I'm here to break in, please.
And that's it for the first episode of Bizarre Canadian Break-Ins. From cupcake heists to mop-wielding intruders, Canada proves that crime here isn't just illegal. It's polite, absurd, and occasionally delicious. So remember, lock your doors, hide your cupcakes, and maybe leave a mop out. Because you never know when the next overly courteous criminal will drop by. Until next time, stay safe, stay weird, and keep an eye on your pastry.